Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. It's the last episode of 2015 and it's just in time for New Year's Eve. Now I won't be doing any cooking during this episode, but what I am making is perfectly appropriate to your New Year's Eve party. Tonight I'm making cocktails, 6 different cocktails. The Vodka Martini, a Kamikaze, a Black Russian and a White Russian, an Amaretto Sour, and a Rattlesnake. Now none of these cocktails utilize any special ingredients or techniques or tools, and many of them use the same liquors. First up, it's the granddaddy of them all, the dry Vodka Martini. We're not going to be answering the question of shaken or stirred, but we are going to be answering the question of ingredients. Now obviously you want a top shelf vodka, so Belvidere or Grey Goose would be your go-to vodkas. I'm going to be using Esme, which is just slightly cheaper, but still just as good. Van Gogh and the less expensive vodkas are just too medicinal tasting for my palate. As important as the vodka is the vermouth. Now in the days of yore, Noilly Pret used to be the go-to vermouth, but they got all uppity and decided they didn't want to be known as a mixer. So they changed their formula and now their extra dry vermouth is sweet, and we don't want that. So now I use Dolin for my go-to vermouth. Cocktail recipes use ratios as measurements. So for our dry vodka martini, it's 2-to-1 vodka to vermouth. Now I'm making a single serving 3-ounce martini, so I'll be using 2 ounces of vodka to 1 ounce of vermouth. That gets shaken over ice and strained into a cold cocktail glass. I have mine garnished with 2 olives and 1 cocktail onion. Next up is the Kamikaze. Its ratios are 1-to-1-to-1. Vodka to orange liqueur to lime juice. Now, like the martini, we need to use good ingredients, so I'm using Contreau instead of triple sec. This too gets shaken over ice and strained into a cocktail glass. We're moving on to the Black Russian. The ratios for that are 2-to-1 vodka to a coffee flavored liqueur. Now you can use Kaluha, it's very good. I've also tried Cafe Granita, which is just as tasty and about half the price. This just gets poured over ice and stirred. Up next is the White Russian. Now the ratios for that are 1-to-1 vodka to Kaluha. That gets shaken over ice, strained into an ice cold cocktail glass, and then topped with half and half. Now you could top it with whole milk, but I like the creaminess of the half and half better. we're coming up to the Amaretto Sour. The ratios for that are 2-to-1 Amaretto to lemon juice. Now you could use Di Serrano Amaretto, but I like this Cristiani and it's about half the cost. If you're going to use fresh squeezed lemon juice, it's about twice as tart as bottled lemon juice. So start with half the lemon juice measure, taste it, and then adjust from there. This all gets shaken over ice and strained into a cocktail glass. I have mine garnished with some maraschino cherries. Last up is our showstopper, our layered shooter, the Rattlesnake. Now that really doesn't have any measures. It's just 3 layers with Kaluha, cream de cocoa, and Irish cream. Now again, I've chosen Fenley's over Bailey's. I like the flavor better and it's about half the cost. Now we are going to be pouring these over a spoon so that we keep the layers separate, and it's much easier to control this if you've got all your liqueurs in small little measures. All of these cocktails can be sipped at your leisure, although we don't want to drink them too slowly because we don't want them to get melty or warm. However, the Rattlesnake gets knocked back in one quick quaff. Perfect.